Hello, does this work? Hi, can you guys hear me? I was just trying to check out some of the features. It's kind of interesting how I don't hear anything back, so it's kind of a little on the weird side for me. Never done this. So how y'all doing? So I'll do stuff non-Sparrow for now. Let's see. I got a box of cool knives yesterday from Poikilo. And the truth is, um, they're cool. And let me just see if I can change my view here. So here are the sparrows I pulled out, but I'll put them away for later. So this one ah see, I got a box here, and it's full of knives. So which one is the one? So this knife is called the Fenrir, actually. Funny, I'm doing Sparrow and I'm talking about a Fenrir that's not a Sparrow. This is a Poikilo. And they do a Fenrir S2 with M398, pearlescent stonewash, and titanium. Okay. So it's interesting. It's really pretty. It's really fidgety, which I'll show you. The one thing that's a little weird is this has like a little lever here, and it's a spine clip, which doesn't necessarily fit perfect in pockets, but it's cool. Now, if you put a lanyard in the hole, I don't think you can actually use the clip. Oh, we'll see. And I believe all of these are washers, but I would have to really check on that. So this one here, I love their packaging. It's such a quality leather pouch. And then the stickers are cool. And oh, I see Dan just came on. Dan, I just wanted to go on and check some features out because I'm actually just using the YouTube Live and not the StreamYard. And I just wanted to see if I can actually screen share. That was the one thing I was wondering if I could do. Anyway, so this one here, this next one is the Tuna. So this is actually one of their older models. Okay, this is from January of 25. Hello, Adventure 50. Minded Milton. Oh my God. Everybody. So, as I said, the packaging is really cool. And then in the packaging, they put their really thick it's not cardstock. I think they're titanium with lasered information. And their cloth is so plush and thick. It's a really good quality. And then this is called the Tuna. It's got awesome action. It's a pretty knife. So the only thing I don't like it is that it doesn't have a front flipper or a rear flipper. It's just one, well, two deployments. You can do the front and you can do the Spidey on the studs, which are placed excellently. Whereas this one, of course, has the front flipper, which I don't think the detent is too strong that I can do the knuckle rollover. Dragoon, I don't mind a stud. I really like it, but I like having more than one method because I am a fidgeter. So I like to sit here and fidget and just play and you know, I get bored when it's just one thing. So I missed that. Yeah, I tend to agree with you. I like studs for front flipping, and I like the blade hole for or fuller for reverse flicking. So something like this, which is not per kilo. This one here is a TACOMS, and this one has the stud that goes inside the blade hole, and this stud actually can be unscrewed and moved over and placed anywhere that fits well for you. So the top one is called the Fenrir, actually. according to the card. Let's see. Is the lighting going to let you see that if I just leave it there? Or there we go. It has to be risen up. But there it is. That's this one. I can try this, see if that comes out. It still doesn't come out. Ah. Yes, I actually really like that Fenrir. It's so far it's been the surprise for me. And we'll put this one here. Yes, I agree with the thumb stud action, Dragoon. You know, it's okay when, but so many companies are making such good knives that how do you decide which one to get over the other one? Like, why spend money on something that isn't going to be exactly what you want at this point? I have so many knives that if it just gives me the enjoyment of one thing, why am I spending my money on it? Yeah, this one here, it shows up if I tilt it, but otherwise it doesn't. Where these cards show up very well. It could also be that I have no idea what I'm doing as far as lighting. So this next one is called the Tactical Tiru. Okay, it's Boulder. Most of their knives I have are Bowler and 390. Has really nice milling. Has this high inset lock, which I really like. Dragoon, you know, just because the company didn't give you a front flipper doesn't mean you can't do a front flipper. Check out this one. So this is Casey's knife. This is a microjet, and I'm a sucker for front flipping. So I actually took a Dremel and Dremeled this piece off to expose the front flipper. So it's got the rear flipper and the front flipper. Of course, I destroyed the anode job, so we had to have someone blast it. And I'm actually leaving it raw right now, but I might re-ano it later. And it doesn't like look poor in the open position, and I don't think it looks too bad. I kind of wish in Casey's design next time he would do the same little etch here on this side to kind of give you that little symmetry of angle, which with my poor skills, there was no way I was going to be able to Dremel that out in this kind of nice shape. But it's fun little knife. And it's all mine. So anyway, so this one's really good too. But you could see that there's a lot of similarities between this and this. And there's a few of their knives that have the same look, like the one that's out now with Tri-State. The Crab has that same kind of, and the Gecko, and they're kind of aiming at the same stylistic approach with some of these knives. So be shady. The truth is, I don't really know that much about tons of steel. Like I'm starting to learn a little more about it. Um, so these are M398, not M390. Apparently, that's a more upgraded steel than the M390. Um, K390, I've heard really good things about, and I kind of tried. The only one I really had was a Neves misdemeanor in the DLC version of the M390, of the K390, and that was a slicey knife. But since I just sit and flick most of my knives and basically have the knives to cut boxes to open up more knives, um, it doesn't really matter that much to me. So here's another Poikilo, and this one here is the Salvatore. Okay, and it's also Bowler M398 with a dark stone wash. Okay, uh, let's see. Let's see if I can do that. Maybe that, that, that. Can I fit it up here? There we go. And here's this knife. I love the color combo. This is definitely my kind of color combo. So Dan, you had a different knife of mine that was similar to this, but we ended up not liking it. It was just because I'm going to pull it out here to show you. I don't know if you remember this one. So it's a beautiful knife. Has a very similar look to this one as far as the colorway, but it only had the single stud. It didn't have the reverse stud. It could have really benefited with a little jimping here, because I think this would have been front flippable if it had jimping. And it definitely would have benefited from a dual stud or a thumb disc rather than the stud. And their DLC is really nice. Yeah, this is really a pretty knife, but functionally, this is the only deployment. And for me, that's kind of like a no-no. But at least this one, they decided to put it on both sides. And they both work great. Now, perhaps I should also okay, you're gonna laugh because this is the only ruler I have right here. Didn't really think this through. It's about an 8.5-inch knife, maybe even a little bit more. And the blade is like 3.7-inch. So it's a bigger knife, at least for me. Smaller. Smaller. Smallest. Well, Patty, which one are you talking about? This one? Yes, of course, Donnie. You really like the larger knife. So, of course, you're going to like the largest one we have here. But I agree. It's a beautiful silhouette. And I like the grind. And just to show you the one that we didn't like because it was a single stud compared to these is teeny. It's the smallest one of the batch. Yes, Be Shady. I really like this. And you're starting to see like this kind of, I don't even know what I'd call that, an American Tonto, I don't know. I don't know. But I do like it. Let's see. I got 3 more that came in, but I can't fit them all. Just going to put the cards away. This one here, next one, is, I'm going to say it up front, my least favorite of these. But I'll let you guys all decide. This is a collaboration knife. It's called the Vader. Okay. Of course, it's Bowler M398 again. Okay. And this one is their interpretation of a crossbar lock. It's kind of cool as far as like the milling pattern and the idea here. Okay. And it's definitely different than their other kind of style. These are a little more sleekish. This is more blocky. I do like the compound grind. I like that there's a fuller. Yeah. Yeah. So this one is just not working yet for me. Maybe I got to figure it out a little. I shouldn't need to though. I do like the accents and I do like the colorway. I like this little pattern here. That's kind of cool. I'll leave this one here. And this one here is called the Orca. And this one here, I don't have a card for, so I don't actually have the details on it. These knives are extremely snappy. And this one compared to this one, about the same size. And the last one I got from Poi Kilo, this one is called the Komodo. And guess what? It's an M398. Surprise, surprise. I guess they bought it in bulk. They like purple, but then again, I do too. I do like the feel in the hand. My finger kind of goes right into this groove, so it's really nice. It's got some nice jimping up here. Does have a little front flipper. Definitely sharp. Hello there, the Knight's Edge. How you doing? I haven't seen you in a while. This one here is very close to that one. So I'm going to say it's close to 8, but I can get the ruler out. It's like 8.25, it looks like, in total length, with a blade length. The cutting edge is around 3.6. So these are the Poi Kilos that I got. What do you think, huh? Which one's your favorite? Me, as far as fidget factor, I'd say this one's my favorite. It's nice in hand. Great action. Great jimping. Bearings, but it falls. I'm sorry, washers. But it falls like bearings. Just like Donnie's. But these are production. These are not personally done by the man himself. Patty, I agree with you, but you know, you can add purple to anything you want if you know how to anodize, which is actually not that difficult. And purple, there's a nice spectrum for purple. So I'm going to put these away and then we can kind of discuss other ones. I kind of didn't want to do the sparrows until 2 o'clock, just because I don't know, maybe someone wants to come in at 2 o'clock when I had originally booked this. Ed, which version do you like? The second to the top was this one, right? You like the third from the top. Yeah, I like the milling pattern on this. Yeah, I'm not really sure I could, they're interchangeable. That'd be kind of cool if they were, right? So this one's interesting actually because the backspacer kind of sticks out when it's closed. And at first I thought it was a spine lock, but it's not. Okay, let's see. How about the newest knives I got in? Do people know what this one is? I know Dan knows. So this is the Numb Knives N1 Cornerstone. And it's beautiful. This one really, really excites my curiosity because it is a perfect size for me. It has multiple deployments with the blade hole and the front flipper. And you can actually do a lock depress to flick it out also. The lock is new, which I love innovations. And this lock is super, super, super strong. If you just press one side, nothing happens. If you press two sides, this side, it doesn't happen. You have to press both. You pinch the two together and it closes. It's fabulous. Actually, this was my biggest regret in 2025. I did not get it. And I reached out to Nick and I said, I told him it's my biggest regret. I didn't get one and now I can't get them. And he's like, I can hook you up. So I got hooked up. And I'm not ashamed to say I'm very happy. Oh, Okay, so this one I'm proud of. So this one, let's see. So as many of you know, I have a pretty decent custom knife collection, and I have a pretty okay production knife collection. But one of the things that we're trying to build is a part of the collection that we completely modified. So this started as a Spyderco Para 3. And truly the only thing that are still Spyderco on this knife is the pivot and the liners. Everything else on this knife is no longer Spyderco. So first we bought the cheapest Spyderco Para 3 we could find. Then we found someone in New Jersey that does reblades. So this is not a transparent knives reblade. This is not the $700 reblade. And this is in Magna Cut. He gave me the option of different steels, but I was totally fine with Magna Cut. And did a beautiful job. So I like not having the spidey hole. I like the oval hole or non-round. Okay. He added a little front flipper for us, which works great. Then we bought Flytanium scales. And we made and a Flytanium clip. This is not a Lynch clip. This is a Flytanium version. And we blurpled all of them. So I don't know if that color is coming through, but we blurpled, and the clip just has the blurple on it. And we blurpled the whole knife. Then we added the laser pattern on the clip. It doesn't have the colors. It's just the laser. On the scales, we lasered in the color palette on top of the pattern of the squares, the cubes. So what's interesting is that a lot of thought goes into planning a build like this. It's not just like, oh, I'm just going to do this. I'm going to do this. Like once, so with anodizing, it's very easy to anodize a color. And then if you don't like it, you can just re-anodize it a different color, take it down, re-anodize it. But once you etch in the laser marks, it's very hard to go back. You could do laser colorings without caring too much, but these all have texture. So when I feel it, I could actually feel the little lines in here. So it's, I don't know if you can actually see that or not. So we're very proud of that one. So this is another one we had lasered. Does anyone here know the name of this knife? So this is the Indiana Knives EDZ. So this one is in Vanex. It is was also sold with Magna Cut. And so this uses Vosteed's Trek Lock. And the reason that's important is that the way it works, it allows for this jimping to go all the way around. A traditional button lock wouldn't give you that option. And this jimping allows you to flick it from anywhere along the jimping. Now, we had this pattern, so this came out completely silver and silver blade. We had this pattern lasered on by the same person that did the other laser. We've used him, Alex at Laser Perfect Customs. He does amazing work. So one of the things that we also noticed was that the is that the detent was light. So we took it apart, and I don't know if you can see it in there. We added 2 neodymium magnets on each side because it is, milled out inside there. So I don't know if you could see that if it comes through, but there's 2 magnets there and 2 magnets there. So it really has a very strong detent now, to the point that using the rollover is not as easy as at one point. You could just flick it and it just go like almost by itself. But this thing will not, like, it will not open on its own. So, and when you talk about magnets, you have to always bring up the magnet knife, right? So this one was anodized by Colin at Colin's Crazy Creations on Facebook, and he's does fabulous, fabulous work. I love the tinging. I don't know if that's coming through or not. Yeah, Nate, factors are amazing. I think he was having another run coming up soon. Is the tinging coming out? Because I have an earpiece in, so I don't know if it's taking away. And then when it comes to, since we were just talking about Colin, this is another knife Colin did for us. So this one is the Aurora Knives and Tool Truffles with the roundhouse lock. Roundhouse lock is the way I describe it is that it's a pivot button actuated reverse liner lock. So when you press the button, it pushes the liner back towards the button, which is different than you would expect. So it's not pushing the button doesn't push it away, it pushes it closer. So what do people want to see? If I'm not should I hold off on the sparrows, or should I start the sparrows? Or should I do another series of knives from a different maker? I have families of knives. So I have families of Hutzlers or families of Browns, families of Mavericks. Any suggestions as to which family I should do? Don't all answer at once. Okay. Okay, dealer's choice. All right, so I'll start with a production knife. So this is a prototype. Of course, this knife is out now. So this is the Concept Link. So there's an interesting story behind this knife. So this knife is a production version of a custom knife. The custom knife is this one. So this one is made by someone named Jonathan Shaw. He goes by the moniker Triple Stripe. So he made this knife when he was like, I don't know, 16 or 17, like he was a child. And he made this knife. And he does beautiful custom work. And this knife is, this is a blue glass antique Westinghouse micarta. And this is a Norris Damascus. Anyway, he wanted to go to college. And the way he was going to go to college was he joined the Canadian military. He is from Canada. And the Canadian military pays for college if you go through the Canadian military. But to get funds while he was in the military, he decided to sell 2 models to Concept and 2 models to Artisan Cutlery. Okay, so this is the Link made by Concept. And I really think that they nailed the similarity in the build. They put like a pretty fancy handle material to give it kind of like a little bling to go with the look of the high-end bling on the handle of the custom. They decided not to put the recurve because I think that this kind of recurve is very hard for a production knife owner to keep. I mean, these knives, they're not really, I don't think they're really meant to be hard users. Because if they were, I don't think they'd have these kind of like funky shaped blades as far as the actual cutting part of it. Because I don't really sharpen, but this must be a real, I don't know what real bitch to sharpen because of the angles. And this one just still has a nice lines to it, but it looks like it would be a lot easier to sharpen. Can anybody guess what knife he designed for Artisan Cutlery? Because he has a style. Yeah, Nate, the boa. I mean, to me, it looks like the exact same knife. You know, maybe a millimeter or 2 different either way, but it's essentially the same exact knife. The other 2 knives he made were very different. And the truth is, the names of those knives are escaping me. But he did a second knife for Artisan Cutlery and a second knife for Concept. I totally love that there are knife makers in their 16s, 15s, and 17s that are coming out with amazing things, and you're starting to see them even come out in production from the custom world. it's like the next generation. And it's kind of cool to catch them when they're that young and to see the potential and what they could do. So since I'm talking about young makers, this here is a prototype. It's not out yet. This knife is called the Halite. This is a prototype from Concept again. So they use a very similar carbon fiber. This one actually has UV properties. So when I put a UV light, it's crazy, crazy good. I don't think the UV shows through the cameras at all. I can put some on it to see, but I really don't think it shows. Well, it doesn't look like it shows on the screen, but over here it's sparkling up. Nate, I don't know when it's being released. Concept takes their time. We had the link for almost an entire year as a prototype before it actually came out. And I had the Terry's knife for at least 8 months before it came out. So they take their time. So this knife is made by a gentleman named Jonathan Arnold. He goes by a company called Horizon Machine Works, and that's his logo up there. Okay. He has had other production knives made, but I think he just entered college this year. So I think he's making less custom work. This is not a custom, and I do not own one of his customs. I'm trying to convince him to make me one or go there and make one with him. But so this one here is one of his custom models. Anyway, so he sold the Clastic to Bestech. So if anybody has a Bestech Clastic, that's his design also, that he makes as a custom also. So it's very snappy. I cannot wait till this comes out because I think it's going to be a hit. As far as size, overall length, it's about 7.5. Actually, let's see if the lighting is just a little too much there. Here we go. But 7.5. And the blade is a tiny bit over 3 inches of cutting edge. Kevin, I just went on starting to check out features on the stream because I've never actually done the stream, and people just started getting on. So I figured I'd just start to show stuff, but I'm not showing any of the Strix until 2. I figured I have everyone on. I'm not gonna like say, okay, go away, and I'll come back in 2, you know. So I got to get a drink. Hello, Dana. Yes, I know, Kevin. The strips are coming out soon. I spoke with Greg recently. He's been having some heartaches with the the shipping and everything. Thank you, Neil. So anyway, yeah, when this comes out, I would support this kid. So I have an upcoming knife. I don't have any details as to when, and this is not going to be the final variation of it. But this is a Devo Mini Buzz. Thank you, Dana. I had this. It's like a metal photo, and it was just like lying on in the back of some books that I had, and I was like, "Oh, this would be nice." So I'm liking it too. Is it giving a good contrast to everything that I put on it? Yes, Kevin. He's waiting on the. It took them longer to get that model, so they held up the entire shipment. Kevin, this is a mini Buzz, not the full size Buzz. This is going to be an exclusive for one dealer. Yeah, this mini Buzz, you might be looking at a year down the line, not, and be shady, and there might be some surprises coming with this. I was going to say, what's Attractus? Yeah, I'm hoping to play with that mini Fractus soon. I've been after Casey. I want to actually get it in hand and see how I like it. Okay, here. So I thought it'd be kind of cool to actually show these two side by side. Neil, you're saying that you're not on it right now? I thought that's your normal. So, as many of you know, my preferred size of a knife is 7.5 inches or less with a blade around 3. Neil, no, I have not tried the Vertilock yet. Anyway, I got this one, and it's amazing. It really is amazing. The fit, the finish, the weight. It's I kind of didn't want to like it, and I like it. And this version, for some reason, I have one that is front flippable. Um, I got another one in on a trade, and that one, for the life of me, I could not front flip. This one I can front flip every time. I never miss it, really. I mean, it might not come out perfect, but I am able to grab it and get it. And it's so solid when you open it. It's like you feel that external stop pin clinking, and it really feels great. And believe it or not, I actually think this is worth the money that he was charging for it. I mean, he could have probably gone down $30, $40, but the materials, the finish, I really think this is a really good knife. And then recently I got this one. So this is Kanwu, and this one is KB or Kubi, also an integral. And really, they are almost exactly the same dimensions. The Kanwu is a little thicker and significantly heavier. Okay. And the blades are very different. But truly, size-wise, they're the same. Action on this one is fabulous. Kubi really killed it. And, you know, Casey did a great job on the design. It's sweet. I actually like the speed holes, you know, because I'm not really sure they did internal milling. So the speed holes are the milling. If they didn't do the speed holes, they would have to have done internal milling. Now, I think this is only their second integral. Their first one was the Eclipse, which I own one, but I haven't seen it in a while. It's still on the pass around. Hopefully it'll get back to me soon. This one, the jimping is just not high enough for me to try to front flip it. I think if the jimping went all the way up, I probably could get around that. But where it is, I cannot. It just does not pop. And my son, who can front flip almost anything, but this one really rockets out. It's great in hand. It feels excellent, solid. See if it just falls, close. Yeah, single shake. It's wonderful. But I don't know if anyone ever like really put these two side by side to show that they are really, you know, Coke and Pepsi. Hello, Dan. Thank you, Sever. Okay, so I've only talked poorly about one knife so far, which was that Pokilo that just didn't hit it for me because of the single stud. Here's another one that just didn't do me right. So this is a Giant Mouse GMP 12. So I don't know if you guys know the history of Giant Mouse. So Giant Mouse, Italian knife company, at least from what I know. And they have two main lines. They have the GM line and they have the Ace line. And the Ace line is the Chinese made knives. and the GM line is the non-Chinese based knives. And normally they come out with a model, they come out with a GM and a GMP. The GMP, the P stands for pirate. So the pirate edition is normally the blacked out ones. Anyway, so I got this on pre-order. It took a long time to get. And then once it comes out, it's a nice knife. It's very pretty, but the lock doesn't work. Just does not work. Giant Mouse had some kind of major error with it, and they recalled the entire line of knives. So everyone that got one shipped to them was asked to return them. And it took like 4 to 5 months, and then they were shipped back. Now, this knife, I had returned my initial one, and this one I actually got on a trade. So they wouldn't refund this one when it broke. So they repaired it and sent it back to me. When they sent it back to me, it had no detent at all. Like I could go like this and the knife would just pop out. I actually ended up putting 3, I don't know if you could see it, 3 magnets on each side. To finally get it to be somewhat acceptable, to give some kind of detent. And check it out. It just popped out. So hence why I'm not happy with this knife. I'll have to fix that later. So this one, on the other hand, is a knife that came in recently that's amazing. So this is, the truth is I don't know the history of One Track Mind, but I think this is his second product. The first one is called the IRE or IRE or whatever you want to call it. IRE is how it's spelled. And it was a great knife. And this, I think, is his second thing. And it's called the Zorn. It's made by Riot. There were 4 versions. So there was a DLC with an American tanto, a DLC with a Japanese tanto, a plain one with an American tanto, and a plain one with a Japanese tanto. Okay. The milling pattern is very Rob Johnson-esque. But I actually brought this when I saw the prototype. I asked Steve if I could bring it to Nicholas from Rob Johnson so he could look at it. And Steve and I went there, and Nicholas was like, oh, yeah, it inspires from this design, but it's completely unique, which it is. And then he also took this really high inset lock, and it's very Craig Brown Cortex-ish. Not Cortex, but FSDI. So here's an FSDI. You could see that it's like that really, really high. And really, Riot did a great job with this. Beautiful lines. Yes, Dana, this Zorn is amazing. Like, really, they did a beautiful job. It's like a 7 and a little over 7 1/4 with a 3-inch blade. I think he has some more of these coming out, like another batch coming out very soon. And he has prototypes of the IRE V2 going around now. I think that of the knives that I have in hand from 25 that I bought, um, this is in the top 5. Okay, I'm running out of things. It's not true, but then if I do everything today, I'm not going to have anything to ever do again. I don't know. Who out there is going to Blade Show, Texas? Oh, Sever, you're going to be there? Awesome. I will see you there. Initially, I couldn't go either, Nate, but I got pushed so hard by so many people that my son and I decided to work it out. But we're literally flying in on Thursday and leaving Saturday during, like, halfway during the day on Saturday. We have to leave because I have to be in Miami on Sunday morning for a morning event. So at least we'll get a day and a half of the show, and we're meeting a bunch of people on Thursday. Nate, I will see you in Atlanta because I already have my hotel, even though I don't need one because my daughter lives there now. But she's like an hour, even though it's Atlanta, it's like an hour away from the convention center. And since we do the pit till like after midnight every day, and adding 2 hours of driving to that would just knock me down. Neil, you want to see the Perlos? Just a Deuterino or all of them? Hey, Sever, were you on when I showed this? So who here knows who Zach Perlo is? So Sever, that Pokilo is called the Fenrir, and I'm really enjoying it. That Pokilo, the pocket clip is a spine clip. Yes, Sever. Let's talk later because I'll send you a batch. Anyway, so this was my first Zach Perlo knife. And the truth is, I'm not going to say that this was my first, but this physical knife was originally bought. That is my first one that I bought. But I'll tell you the story afterwards. So this is the first one I got. And then, of course, my son likes smaller knives. So he convinced me to get the brother. Okay. And that's kind of what we do. We normally get the two sizes of the same similar style knife. So this one up here is called El Duderino. Okay. And this one is called The Dude. Okay. Look out for Zach, because Zach is really up and coming. His custom work is amazing, and I'm fairly certain that he's going to have a production knife coming out soon. Anyway, so this knife here inspired us, and he has two other models. He's got something called, actually three other models. He has a model called the Upgrade, which we had one and we moved it along pretty quick because it just wasn't the configuration we liked. He has a model called the Mayhem, which is huge. It's much larger than, it's like almost 9 inches, which is just much larger than what I like. And then he has a model called the Multipass. So do you guys notice the name that he uses and where he gets his names from? You think what he likes? Anyway, so we were talking to him, and he basically allowed us the privilege to go to his shop to make a knife with him. So we went there with billets of steel, slabs of crystallized titanium, and all types of glass materials, literally a suitcase full of stuff. And we made these two. And I've shown them around, so people have seen them. That's mine. And that's Hayden's. So these two knives show that when you have a custom knife, you can basically do almost anything you want to that custom knife. And make it unique to you. So yes, these are the same knife, but one's a little smaller, one's a little larger. One is got a stud with a fuller. The other one has just a thumb disc. They both have very minimal rear flippers and front flippers. So this one is crystallized titanium with Baker's Forge copper my Damascus. So we used a slab of the Damascus as the backspacer. We used it as the clip. We have black titanium liners, and there's a teeny shadow box, so the liners are slightly proud of the titanium. We have these, I'm not going to call them speed hole, but slots. But then also there's shadow boxing of the liner inside the slots. And then the holes in the liners allow you to see the Damascus of the backspacer. On this side, we couldn't put the slot hole in the liners because it would mess up with the lock bar strength. So we decided to just put little holes to show the Damascus through them and then leave the rest in the black tie. He also used a little bit of the Damascus as a pivot collar on both of them. And then he put the crystal tie as the pivot top. So this is the difference. This is where it becomes like a work of art. Is this a usable knife? Absolutely. It's a cutter. It's a beast. Hey, TC. So this one was Hayden's build. So Hayden chose to go a different route. So he only wanted the thumb disc. He wanted a compound grind. He also has a little, the teeny rear flipper. And the front flipper. He went with an Adam DeVille feather Damascus. And he decided to go with bolsters. And the bolster is actually also made out of the same Damascus. He did the same Damascus as the backspacer and the clip, just like I did. He spent like 2 hours, Hayden, since we helped build this, Hayden spent 2 hours lining up the feather Damascus so that the angles would be the same. So it would, when it was in the open position, it would look almost like it was one piece. Then this one also has black titanium liners. And then this purple glass Hayden had commissioned because he loves purple and it's very hard to get purple glass. So he had this material commissioned and the material was pretty thin. So we ended up putting another piece of titanium that we anodized purple underneath it to give it a little contrast. So you have like the two different shades of purple and then the black and then the blade. He has the same purple material as the pivot collars on this one. And then Zach took this one back. And this is another thing that's the difference between a custom and a production. He goes, let me take that back and update it to current standards, because this was like his 5th or 6th knife. And he had improved in his mechanism and everything. So he basically took it back, took it apart, and basically updated it. So even though it's the oldest knife here, it has his most newest mechanism in it. Can you imagine Riyadh saying, send it back to me. I'm going to basically update it to the current standards. Hello, Mr. Eddie. Lakeside, which one? Or is that Mo Patty's knife that you need? Yeah, I think Matisfaction has like a pry bar with this material. And out there in the wild somewhere, there's a lady who has a chopped smock with this material. And I really tried to contact her about getting it. And I said, how much would it cost for me to get that knife off of you? And her answer to me was, that knife is going in the casket with me. So I guess not. Have a good afternoon at work or morning. You guys are 3 hours behind me. So have a good day at work, Mr. Eddie. His work is just so good. But he's getting popular. So like the minute he puts something, you can only get it on the secondary or lotto. So here, so a lot of people in this live know who made this, because this crowd kind of knows this knife maker, I think. So his name is Mark, and he's Vulcan knives. And so his story is that he is a retired machinist who decided that in his retirement as a hobby, he was going to start making knives. He made this access lock. This is not something that he picked up from Tie Connect or from Benchmade, or this is a handmade access lock. He has very unique style. And this is one of his earlier knives, like 2 years old. I think Mr. Eddie has the sister to this. It's essentially a very similar knife with just different color inlays and different clip, but otherwise, and he basically makes batches of one or one of two, and that's it. You will not see 10 of these knives. And most of his knives were access locks. Then about a year ago, he started making some button locks, traditional plunge button locks. And then I've been after him to make frame locks or liner locks for a while. And he finally made one. And of course, Mr. Eddie snagged the first one, which is fine because it was a 3.7-inch knife and I'm not into larger knives. So he made a 3-inch one for me. And he contacted me and said, it's not that good. He's like, there's an issue with this and I can't figure it out. He's like, I want to send it to you and have you kind of figure out what you think we need to do with it to improve it. Like, what is it that we need to do to get it right? So I got it. I played with it. I saw what it had, lock rock, and had a few things going on. We had like a nice long conversation about what I thought the improvements would be and what needed to be done. And he listened and he called me back like 2 days later and he goes, I made another one and I think I fixed every single problem we discussed. I'm like, send it to me. I'm like, I'm buying it. If you fixed it, I'm buying it. And so this is the knife. So yeah, Patty, Mark makes awesome stuff. So this one here, first, I love the milling that he does. Okay. I love the colorway. I love the milling. I love that he covers the tip of his knives. Okay. I love that he does milling on the blade that reflect the similar pattern that's on the scales and ties it together. I think he did a really good job. It's really solid. It doesn't go side to side, forward, down, which was one of the problems we had with the previous one. It's a front flipper, which you know I love. Blade hole. I totally think he killed it. Like beautiful, beautiful lines. And he, as a custom knife maker, is the most economical, or one of the most economical custom knife makers I've ever seen. And I know he's going to explode and he's going to have to raise his prices soon. So if you guys can get one before he starts raising his prices, he's going to have to. Just, but like $400 for customs. He had one on his table on his site recently that was like 2 something. I mean, in today's age, that's cheaper than most production knives with titanium. Yeah, Dana, he doesn't need the money. He's doing it for fun. So I think he's just charging for materials and electricity costs and nothing else. And try to convince him he should charge a little more. I know people don't like to hear when I say, he should go up on prices, but I really do think he should. But I really, really think that people should get it. Like, his work is just great. And you can see he has a style too. Exactly, Lakeside. So I have 2 more of them, but they're out being reviewed. I think KC has them right now, and I don't know where they're going next, but they're going somewhere. Okay, how about the first custom knife that Hayden and I actually went to the shop to work on? So, Jim Vanderbilt has a company called HMC. Does anyone actually know what HMC stands for? I want to make sure I get the name right because I asked that question. I want to make sure that I'm not saying it wrong. That's funny. I don't even know if it's on his website. But I believe it goes for Hellion. But I don't want to just say it out because I want to make sure I'm saying it right. So I'll just save that for another time. But anyway, so we went there and Jim had a blank. So basically, this was just completely silver looking. There were no holes in it. It was just a silver knife. Thank you, TC. And just so you know, my pivot says Hellion. Yeah, the transient's great. So anyway, so he sent it to us and we decided to do, we went on the computer with him and we, basically uploaded some of his files and we decided to do what's called a hyper-radial pattern that he had on other models. And then we put in the foci of the hyper-radial, we put grade dating speed holes in the foci. Then we blacken the blade and blacken the blade. We blacken the scales, and then we went back and remilled it. So everywhere that there's not milling, there's black. Then we burnt the Damascus for the collars and the back spacer. And did a process on the blade to give it this finish. And while we were there, we were showing him, we were doing a show and tell with our knives. And we showed him this knife. Does anyone know what that is? Because this is the most fun little thing. So this is something called a magnifold. So if nobody's seen this before, the guy sells it on Etsy. And basically it's either wood or G10. And it has magnets that basically create the action. So think of it like a double D10. But the magnets, it's got basically 3 magnets on the scales and 3 magnets on the blade, or 2 on the blade. And depending on where you are, it will pull it closed or push it open. There's like a point at which, so it really feels. So this one has a teeny front flipper. So we're showing him that this would work. So I can get the front flip on this blade. But it requires wrist action. My plan is to go there and get another blade from him. I'm just waiting for him to make some more bromascus. But that was our first experience. And it was such a good experience. He's so good. He's so knowledgeable. He's so into the community. And so this one here is something obscene. And my son and I call this the Frankenstein. So this one here, we bought a J cape. a standard J cape. Fantastic Riot made something obscene knife. And this one only had a flipper. And so the other two models that are popular from Felix are the knife called the Nemli, which is a big chunk of a knife that has a lightning bolt on the blade. So depending on which version of the Nemli, some of the lightning bolts are on the top, some of them are distant down low. Anyway, my son and I decided that we were going to put a lightning bolt like the Nemlis on our J cape. So we actually went to the makerspace at the university where we were both at. So he was a student and I was working there. And we took classes on the water jet. We learned how to use the water jet. And we sacrificed a few cheap knives to basically get, so we can make a lightning bolt, so that we could position it exactly where we wanted it. And then once we did that, we actually put this lightning bolt in ourselves. Then we sanded it down so that it wouldn't be sharp anywhere in there. Then we were after Felix to get us a set of studs from the Lek, which is their other model. So this is a unique stud that was to that model. And Felix was a great guy, and he couldn't get it for us. And finally, probably the third or fourth time we saw him at a blade show, and he's like, I can't get it. I can't find it. I'm like, okay, we'll see you next blade show. Maybe you get one by then. Anyway, he actually ran up to us and handed us a knife. He goes, this one came in as a blem. It's, it's got issues. He's like, just take the stud off. So we took the stud off, and Mr. Eddie actually put the stud on here for us. Then the knife went to Tommy. It helps with gadgets. And Tommy did a live stream on anodizing it. And he basically anode at the different parts of it and basically took some user feedback from the group and did some decisions on anoing this. And I think he did a great, great job. Then my son and I were at Jeff Blavelt's shop working on a custom knife with him. And we were blackening the knife. And we asked him if we could blacken this blade. And he's like, yeah, sure. So we unscrewed this one and took it apart and blackened the blade, because originally it wasn't black. And then we hand tumbled it to give it that rustic look, because it kind of goes with the rest of the knife, that rustic kind of tumbling, to finish it up. It's a lot of fun. And there's none other like it. This is ours. So even though it's a production knife, it's ours. I need another drink. So, does anybody have any plans for the day today other than watching knife videos? Because I do that a lot. I sit and just go from video to video to video to video. Sever, I'm so nervous about filming. I have no idea how to edit, and I know I hate my voice. TC, what are you doing for the smock? Neil, are you sharpening for a business, or you're sharpening just because you need your knives to be sharp? Ah, so here, TC, I don't know if I've shown you this. So this is just a plain black G10 smock that was chopped. So by chopped, they basically took off 1/4 of an inch off the ass of the knife. And then the blade was trimmed down so that it fit perfectly. And then the holes were put back on, but the screws were left exactly where they were. And then these screws were added for the clip. Hey, Neil, did you notice that they coming out with a mini Ars Chaos? I'm a little upset with what they decided to go with, but it is coming out. They decided to put a crossbar on it. And I actually sent out a message to you, and I'm like, everybody's doing crossbars, but the truth is nobody likes them anymore. At least that's my opinion. So it is a great model, and he had such a good idea about pushing the liner out of the way with a button. Hello there, Dwayne. How you doing? Ah. Dana, are you still in Boston area? Is it cold up there today? It was so warm yesterday comparatively, and now it's getting cold again. Yeah. It's 44 here in where I live also. What's everybody playing with now? What knife are you flicking around? No. Dwayne, these the bottom three are customs, handmade ones. The top one is a production made by Bestech for Greg. Dana, which meteor did you get? Button actuated bolster lock. It's awesome. Very nice. I had the foil with the silver blade, not the black blade. Not the foil. Was it the foil? I thought it was the one with the silver twill or something. Kenman has it now. Kenman really wanted it, and it was totally fine with me. You know, Neil, the Dixon is so big. It's bigger than I like. I got to play with the prototype. I never actually have played with a production, like the final version. I can't say it's a production because he doesn't make that many to be called a production. It's like halfway there to be called a production. I don't like them dainty, Donnie. I like them smaller. Dainty would be, do I have dainty knives? Yeah, I have dainty knives, but they're more hated. Here, that's a dainty knife. Look at that relative to the Strix. that's a Luma Blades Calypto. Oh, I know. I know. And yours is going to be a beefy boy. It's just going to be smaller in hand. I'm okay with the little chunker. I'm okay with the little. Are you flicking a knife or are you working on building a knife, Donnie? Because I am almost always, when I'm watching lives, just cha-chink, 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 cha-chink. Blade side, do you have any Moorish blades? Because he makes little chodes. Yeah, I have no fixed blades at all. Not a single one. One of the makers that we just finished making a knife with, or almost finished, there was a problem with the knife, so it's not finished. He wanted to take all the scraps from the materials and make a small fixie out of the extra materials. So that might end up being my first fixed blade. But I'm not sure. Let's see how much, because we have to redo stuff. Let's see how much material we have left. Okay, so I think it's close enough to two that I originally booked for this. So maybe I should go start. What do y'all think? Should I? Or have I lost my thunder and people have left the group since we spent so much time on everything else? Oh, Kenman's back. Yes, it is Sparrow time. Funny. I did put them back out. So these are my sparrows. So Sparrow is a company based out of Biloxi. Greg Schaub is his name. Many of you know him because he basically has a dual career. I would call it maybe a three-part career. So first, he was I would say military Coast Guard for many years, retired, started making knives. He This is his fourth folding knife he ever made. This knife is called the Shrike. So it is a liner lock. This is completely handmade, a la the way Donnie makes them. No mill, no nothing, just straight up. Fabulous, fabulous knife. So he wanted to, I'll tell the story a little later. I'll go to the next one. I'm going to skip this one here. So when I say he has multiple angles to his knife life, many of you know he designed the Concept Fenrir. He's designed many models for them, the Baba Yaga, the Toth. He's done a bunch of things for Concept. And he's very successful with that. Okay. And then he, in his custom line, he made this one. So this is called the Strix. So this is actually one of his earlier Strix. And believe it or not, this was a book build for the gentleman who owns Null Knives, Sean. This was his book build. And this is completely handmade. Ooh, sorry. And it's beautiful. Anyway, he decided that he wanted to start to make CNC made knives. But as many people will attest, CNCs are expensive. Okay, so he needed to make money. So the way he decided he was going to make money is that he made a production run of this model. So his production run, he used Best Tech. And they kind of nailed it. Okay. Now, this finish is not something that came. This is something I did, and I'll explain that also. But they nailed it. Great action, great materials. It really looks sharp. Works perfectly. Okay. He ran run, made enough money to buy a CNC, got coerced to make a second run. And then he was like, I'm done. I'm not making it anymore as a production. So now his custom ones are CNC made by him, one at a time. And they're amazing. The quality has gone up tremendously because it's more perfect. This one here, we actually had the same gentleman that lasered my other knives. This was a plain Jane. So this was just plain titanium, and this was just a plain blade. And we had, this is a book pattern. that we had put on the handle. And then this is a pattern that my son and I kind of designed and wrote down for him to put with the laser. And essentially, it's based off of an MC Escher effect. So this is an optical illusion. So basically, if you're outdoors with this knife and you start to like basically play with the light, it'll look like the knife hole is a tunnel, like it's going into the floor. Or depending on the lighting, it might look like it's a snake coming up at you. So it all depends on how the light hits it. And it really came out nice. And originally he asked me, he's like, "Do you want me to make it look Damascus or something?" I said, "No, we don't want to fake Damascus. We want people to know it's lasered. We want I want to focus on the fact that we're modding this to make it look unique." And I think this came out killer. So, as many of you know, my son and I travel around a lot, and we get to meet a lot of makers, and we're very social. And we had been talking to Greg and his wife Lee, who run the company together, and we ended up going to their home for lunch one day while we were driving through their town. And we're talking to them and telling stories, and Greg pulls out this knife. So this knife has a history, and the history is that this knife, which he knew we had, because actually we were picking this knife up because he was putting the stud in for us and fixing something on it. And he wanted to make this a recurve. So he started playing around with making recurves, and he made this one. So this one is got like an interesting recurve, and it's a frame lock, not a liner lock, because he was doing proof of concept. So most of the time, proof of concept, they don't really want to make liner locks because they're harder to make by hand. So he made this one, and he just was not happy with the way the blade came out. He was not happy with the knife, and he never sold it. And he then further redesigned it. Just give me a second. I'm just trying to see if I can find a picture of the way the current one looks. Nope, I can't. Not there. And all right, I found one. So I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to try to share my screen. So if you can see, I don't know if you can see both screens. He made it wider that way to make it look better. And I think he did a beautiful job. And so that's the current look of the knife, the newer ones. And you could see the progression from this to this to the one on the screen. So he never sold this because he was unhappy with how it came out. And we were trying to explain to him that it's not so much every single knife, but the story that's important. And and the story of seeing the progression is part of the story. So he handed this to us and gave it to us and said it's on an indefinite loan because I'm not selling it. And we have plans to get the newer one so that it would fit here in our story. So it's our story of the sparrows. And hopefully we'll have the opportunity to help make it. Lakeside, not all customs are frame locks. A lot of them are because it's easier, but that's a liner lock. This is a frame. So that's actually my Sparrow story. So now he got kind of bamboozled, pushed. I mean, it's not like you have to twist someone's arm that much to do another run of Strix. So we were talking to him before he decided to do the third run, asking questions about it. And they were supposed to be out in December, but there were some issues with the higher end ones. And I think they're coming out at the end of this month, or they're going to be delivered at the end of this month. Anyway, that's my story. Do any of you have orders for the new Strix? I know that Dan does. Kenman. I think Hate Nate said he has one on order. Or was it Kevin Smith and Knives? Anybody else? I understand that, you know, but budget is. Yeah, don't get the schmutz from the pulled pork on your keyboard, though. It's hard to come off. Although it'll smell pretty good later on in the week. But then maybe later it won't. And hey, it's the Johnsons. I don't know what your name is. I'm sorry. But budget is different for every person. And yes, it's not inexpensive at all, but it's a solid knife. Donnie, I knew it. I do the same thing. I sit here all the time and have my my soup. I love soup in the winter. It's my jam. Gene and Kayla. Well, nice to meet you guys. And thank you, Dana. So, Gene, I started out with budget items also. I think my gateway knife was the Civivi Vision FG. I have since then upgraded it with original goat scales, which are beautiful scales and they're very economical, but damn, they take a long time to get to you. So unless you're lucky enough to be able to go and pick it up at Blade Show where they might have a stash of them, it's like a 12-week wait. 12 weeks from now, I'm already thinking about a different type of knife, not even the same knife. But this neck lock is excellent. And the value for the money is phenomenal. So you can get maybe 3.5 of these for one of the production tricks. And like 30 of these for one of these. Yeah, I love the shape of the bottom one of the original. I kind of wish he did a run of the original Shrike. I think this blade shape I think is my funnest and very useful. I mean, you could really hard use this one because so Brandon, if this was Knife Anonymous, that'd be good. But first, you didn't anonymize yourself. And for two, we're not in the habit of stopping to buy knives. We actually encourage buying knives, but buying the right knives. Oh, yeah. So, Patty, so this one is a production one. So, not this finish, of course, because I customized it, but these are running between $300 and $400 unless you get the one with the Damascus on them. And I think that even though there was a big pre-order, I think that Blade HQ is going to have some um, once the pre-orders go out. I think that they did an exclusive run, so I think they actually have pre-orders available on Blade HQ still, or not pre-orders but pre-sales available. This one is quite expensive. They're very hard to get, and they can run, in the 3,000 up range. Table on them is in the mid 2000s, I think. after mine, right, Donnie? So I think one of the things that makes the price go up is the fact that there's such hype and demand for it in the secondary market. And they I will tell you that during the hype before he was doing the pre-orders for the third run of these, the production one of these, they were selling for over $1,000 because so many people wanted them. I got offers for this one that were ludicrous. But I promised Greg and his wife wanted this one, so I promised if I ever sold it, I'd give it to them. So, Gene, this one is you can get this under 400. I'm pretty sure that Blade HQ has it for under 400. Yeah, they have them on. They currently have it on Notify Me, not pre-order or prepayment, and they're starting at like 355. It looks like they do have a version that's like 900 something, but most of them are in the mid threes, between 330 and 370, depending on the configuration. So I don't think that that's completely crazy this day and age for a product of this caliber. I don't know. I'm looking forward to getting another one of his knives. I'd love to. Uh-oh. My cat decided to join us. Dribble. So, yes, Milton, I got two kitties. One who loves knives, and every time I'm playing with the knives, will come and try to sit on the stack of knives, like on my case. Yeah, the cat's cuter than I am. What can I say? Okay, don't. All right. Okay. She's not happy. So now she just wants attention. You know what? I don't have a scale available to me, Patty, but they're not light. I will say, um, especially these older ones, because he did them by hand. Nothing's milled out at all. I think his newer ones that he are completely milled out because he's doing them on CNCs. So, do you guys still hear me? Are you able to hear me? Are you able to hear me? Thank you. I wasn't sure. I just put my earbud back in the case because it was starting to die. And Neil, have a great day. Okay. I miss you. When are you going to come back and help and teach us how to sharpen again? Tommy's here. Oh, Tommy, how you doing? You missed it. I've been on for a long time, actually, 2.5 hours. And the cat decided that it's time now to start to join the group. Um, I don't know. A bunch of people were asking me, and I figured I'd play and and try to figure out what I would want to do with it. I was on a I was on a group thing last night for like 2 hours with a bunch of people, and they were all pushing me to try. So yes, Dana, it's not hard, but um, it's for me. It's a lot easier if if my son wasn't busy with his girlfriend and he was here and we were just chatting and just talking back and forth. And then following the chat, of course, it's easy. But when you do it solo, it's not as easy as people think. Yes, Milton, I have a lot of stuff, but also, like, if I tell you every story and every piece of knife I have, then I'd never have a second stream. Thank you, Dan. Can't tell all the stories in one day. Mm. And my throat is starting to get like Tired and dry. That's right, Dana. Always want them leaving more. Thank you very much. Yes, Milton, I think live streaming is much easier than making a video. I think videos are hard. Like, I have no idea how to edit. Yeah, Donnie, go. Keep on making my knife. Come on. You now have a time constraint, right? Milton, I don't even know what Twitch is. So, yes, I'm an old man. Thank you, Donnie. I appreciate it. Let me put my whip away. Thank you, Nate. Yes, Milton, I actually joined a Slack channel last night for the first time. Never done that before. I have one pre-order, Milton, that is coming, um, and that is the Best Tech Mini Taipan. Other than that, I don't know. Um, I am in the middle of making a few knives. Okay, I'm sorry, I do know. You know, I never win anything on the lives, right? Well, okay, that's not true. I've won 3 things on the lives, over the course of what, 3 years? And of those, I've only kept one of them, which I still don't have because it went right into the pass around and it's still been on a pass around and it's still currently on a pass around. Um, so I don't actually have it. But I did recently win a waffle. So the waffle was very cool. So the waffle was for charity, actually, um, and I think they raised like $8,000 in the waffle. Um, uh, and uh, and I was in Japan, and I actually just randomly went on. I saw that he was live doing the waffles, so I went on. I bought 5 tickets for myself, which was $50, and 5 tickets for my son, which was another $50. And I'm like, "Oh yeah, hi, I'm here in Tokyo," and he's like, "Oh, Tokyo, that's so nice." And then he runs it, and I win. And I was freaking out because it's a very, very expensive knife. And I still don't have it because I said, "Oh, when I get back, I'll contact you," and I haven't contacted him. Um, but that's going to probably be the next knife I have. And what's interesting is that I've already gotten 3 people contacting me that they want to buy it for me, and I haven't even gotten it. Yes, Donnie, you have no idea how much press you would have had I had a knife all this time. The amount of meetups I've done and the amount of people I've seen. Yeah. Have I ever sent you stickers, Patty? I do actually have some stickers. Ah, there, a sticker. It's too light there. There, a sticker. Do you guys like the white sticker better than the shiny sticker that I had before? I think the shiny sticker is cool in person, but it does not photograph well. Yeah, I because it's really shiny, it just reflects everything. So, Patty, did I send you shiny or matte? Tommy, next batch I send you, I still have this for you. I'll put stickers in it. I didn't forget about you. But I haven't had any knives to really send you lately because I'm running out. Anyone else going to Texas? Just wondering. Dana, I don't have a problem sending Tommy knives. I totally trust him with the most expensive knives I have. I have problems with the Postal Service touching my knives. So I had an issue with a knife recently. It wasn't custom, but um, it was a prototype or pre-production, and it was going around making its rounds, and it got lost in the mail. And the person who had it last felt really bad and like replaced it with the same exact knife, but it wasn't the prototype, and they were unable to get the finish of the actual prototype because it wasn't actually made as a production. So they did their best, and shit happens, and I know that, and I don't blame them or anything, but there are certain things that can't be replaced, and that wasn't even an expensive knife. So imagine a knife that you were like that I made with the maker. The knife is is not the cost. The cost was going there and spending a week in a hotel while we were making it, and buying the materials and going and enjoying and the experience. You can't replace that. Even if the insurance company gave me back all the money, you can't replace it. Well, Patty, I've had one box lost by UPS too. they delivered it. It said delivered. It went to a completely different address when they did a GPS scan of where it was scanned. It was in like a different town from the town I was in. Well, did you guys hear about the Devo saloons? What happened with customs? It wasn't even USPS. Customs took like 8 of Jesse's highest end saloons right out of the box when it was going through customs. And those were the most expensive Devos ever thus far. What's interesting, Patty, is that I don't actually have a lot of those medium ones because a lot of those medium ones we've kind of like moved along to get more personalized ones. So, like the transient, yes, if you lost a transient, you could get another transient, but ours we made with him. So we can't redo that. Cat Scratch, I have a J cape that I'm moving along if you're interested. Well, I have it in the pass around. It's not physically with me, so I can't show you it to you, but I have one. Oh, I have to find it. I don't remember. Oh, yeah, the mini is awesome. Cat Scratch, have you been on the live for a while? I showed my the one that Tommy modded, helped mod for me. Awesome, Patty. I'm so excited. That's great. So this one here, we put the lightning bolt. Hayden and I learned how to use the water jet so we could put the lightning bolt. Mr. Eddie put in the stud from the Lek. And Tommy did the helps with the gadgets, did the ano on a live stream. And then Hayden and I blackened the blade at Jeff Blavelt's shop. And we did the tumble. Donnie, we're all going to have a drink. Okay, I think I'm going to call it 2. Very nice, Cat Scratch. Milton has an awesome collection. I had the pleasure of meeting him. When he came to my town, we met up. Thank you, Dana. Okay, everyone, I think I'm going to get off. You all have a wonderful day. Thank you for joining me. Okay, bye-bye.